The mean, as we said in our previous video, is the most common measure of center or average. Sometimes when working with mean, we don't have individual data values, though. We have the weight of that value, or the frequency that value occurs. When we have a weighted mean, we have to adjust our formula slightly when calculating the mean. When we have a weighted mean, we need to multiply the value by its weight and divide by the total weight. Let's take a look at an example of what we mean by a weighted mean and how we can calculate it. Let's say we did a survey and asked a bunch of adult women the number of kids that they had. 0 kids was an answer given by, I'll use F for frequency, given by 14 people. 1 kid was an answer given by 7 people. 2 kids was an answer given by 24 people. And 3 kids was an answer given by 18 people. Now, we can't just average 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 and divide by 4. That would give us 1.5. That's not going to be the average because the number 0 occurred 14 times. We have 14 zeros, 7 ones, 24 twos, and 18 threes. To calculate the weighted means, we have to multiply the value times its weight. And so when we do 0 times 14, the frequency, the 14 is the weight, we get 0. Adding all those zeros would give us 0. 1 times 7 gives us 7. If we added all 7 ones, we would get 7. 2 times 24 is 48. So if we added all 24 of those 2's, we'd get 48. 3 times 18, that's going to give us 54. Because if we added all those 3's, we'd end up with 54. This sum is what we want to add up. 0 plus 78 plus 48 plus 54. That adds up to 109. That's what you would get if you added up all the numbers. And then we need to divide by the total number, which is found under the frequency. That's the number of numbers. So if we add up the frequencies, add up the 14 plus the 7 plus the 24 plus the 18, we should get 63. So now we can take the total of 109 and divide by the 63 people who responded in this survey, and that's going to give us a weighted average of 1.73 kids per person we interviewed. Another type of weighted average is one that you interact with as a student quite often, and that's in your GPA. Let's say you got the following grades in a term in classes that had a certain number of credits. Let's say you got a 3.8 in a class that was worth 5 credits, a 2.7 in a class that was worth 4 credits, and a 3.5 in a class that was worth 1 credit. Now, when we say credits, that is the amount of time you spent in the classroom each week. Credits is the frequency. This is the frequency. So to get our total number of points earned, you're going to multiply the grade by the credits. 3.8 times 5 is 19. 2.7 times 4 is 10.8. 3.5 times 1 is 3.5. That's what we would get if we added up all of the grades for each credit hour you earned, which in this case is 33.3. Then we want to divide by the frequency, or the total number of credits that you earned. 5 plus 4 plus 1 is 10 credits. So we take the 33.3 points you earned, divide by the 10 credit hours, and you get an average of a 3.33 grade for every hour you sign up for. That's how your GPA is calculated. It's based on the credits and the grade and a weighted average.